Hello world of YouTube, and welcome to another Carversation. I'm currently filming this on the way home to Indianapolis from Philadelphia. I've got a long drive ahead of me, but I wanted to film this on the way there, filming it on the way back, so I'm going to have a fun time editing this. But today we're going to be talking about the upcoming PlayStation Classic and what a clusterfuck its game list is. So, even though I wasn't the biggest PlayStation kid growing up, I did play some of the games on here that are on that are going to be on the console, and there's some games that I appreciate them making the essentials, and I appreciate it, some of the more obscure games they're putting on there, but I feel like they're missing on some genuinely fondly remembered upon games. And I know I'm not the only one to talk about this, but I'm gonna just talk about like some of the shit that I would put on there. Because though I'm not a PlayStation kid, I get that there's a shit ton missing from this. Now, I understand why it didn't include some games. I understand why there's no Spyro or Crash platformers, because those games just got remastered. Same with Medieval, that's getting remastered. I get why that's not on there. Fuck. Even though they are remastering Final Fantasy VII at the moment, I get why they're including it. Oh god, I made a mess everywhere. I get why they're putting Final Fantasy VII on this console. It's kind of an essential game you need if you're going to sell PlayStation Classics. Same with Metal Gear Solid. I get why that's going to be on there. Even a game that's not as popular nowadays like Ridge Racer, I know it was huge at the time of that game's release. So I get why that's an essential. I appreciate Intelligent Cube for being on there. I get why the first Resident Evil's on there. Same with Jumping Flash. That's another relatively obscure, deeper cut favorite that I appreciate them for pulling. But like, you don't really need Street Puzzle Fighter. You don't need puzzle. There's other puzzle games you can put on there. I don't know anybody that looks back on Siphon Filter and goes, yeah, that's an essential game. I even understand the inclusion, even though I think you could put other sports games on there. I understand why you put Cool Borders 2 on there. But you can't tell me, like, I know some people look at Destruction Derby fondly, but you can't tell me people wouldn't prefer to have either Gran Turismo, which is a much more looked fond upon racing game, or fucking Crash Team Racing to be on there instead. I mean, for fuck's sake, that game didn't get a remaster. And I know that I'm not the only one that thinks it's one of the best kart racing experiences ever made. Also, why the fuck is there no Tomb Raider? Like, it's not even like we couldn't get a license thing. Square owns Tomb Raider now. And they put Final Fantasy VII on there. Why the fuck wouldn't you put any of the Tomb Raiders on there? That's fucking mind-blowing. Or, fucking Silent Hill? A game that also never gets remastered. I mean, no one redoes any Silent Hills. It's usually 2, and anything 2 onwards. Silent Hill 1 kind of gets pushed to the side. It got remade for the Wii, but even that's a little different than the original. I can put Silent Hill 1 on there. And if you really wanted to, like, get at the heartstrings of fans, because let's face it, if you want to play Final Fantasy VII, there are a shit ton of ways you can do so. I get why you'd put it on here, but there's other RPGs you can include on there, like Legend of Dragoon. Another great RPG to put on there that does not get a whole lot of love. You could put Final Fantasy IX on there. That's another game that a lot of people fucking look fondly upon. That's Shake's favorite Final Fantasy game. It's not on my essentials list. Like, if I actually made a list that I'll include in the description to the 20 games that I would put on there. I even ran out of games excluding the 20 I put on there, and I didn't swap out much. I also get that even though they just remade it, re-put it on PlayStation 4, Symphony of the Night fucking sold PlayStations. Why wouldn't you put it on a Classics console? Or fucking Ape Escape. There are Parappa the Rappa, another game that I did play on the PlayStation that I know a lot of people look upon fondly. And if you didn't want to do that obvious of a pick, you could have done fucking Jamalami or the fucking Vib Ribbon, the like White Rabbit game. There are a fuck ton of games you could have put on here that fit better than half of the shit you put on this classics console list. It's fucking weird. And I know I sound like a really like elitist gamer right now, but I know I'm not the only one who's this fucking baffled by the inclusion of a lot of the games on this list. Like I said, I get the deeper cuts like Intelligent Cube and Jumping Flash, and even Mr. Driller to an extent. Even though it's not on my final list, I get why Mr. Driller is there. But there's so many other things you could have put on there to swap out some of these kind of choices to make it a little more of a beefed up experience for gamers that remember the PlayStation fondly. Hell, I took the original Rayman off, and that's a game that I know people remember fondly. But, like, there are other 2D platformers you could have thrown on there, too, like Klonoa. A lot of people remember Klonoa fondly, and Tombi. Like, again, I have zero experience with Tombi or fucking Klonoa, but I know that they have their fans. They have their endeared fans. I just think this is a weird missed opportunity for Sony, and I think they're fucking themselves over by putting together this list that they put together for these 20 games. You know, I think it's got its essentials, it's got some deeper cuts, it's got some games that people remember fondly, but there's a shit ton of games that just don't need to be there. I didn't mean to sound so passionate about this, but I'm still so baffled as to why they put a lot of the games on this upcoming Classics console that they did, because I think Nintendo got it right with the NES and the SNES Classic, especially the SNES Classic. I think that they are setting themselves up to continue that as well if they decide to do an N64, which I'll talk about in a different conversation or a different video. I don't know. I feel like this could be a longer conversation if I included my N64 discussion, but I have a lot of ideas for an N64 Classic that I know a lot of other gamers have also talked about, but I wanted to focus on the PlayStation Classic, my thoughts on it, my little rant about its list and how fucking ass backwards it is. But now, I'm going to pass it off to you, you lovely motherfuckers. What do you think about the PlayStation Classic? Or do you remember a lot of these games fondly? Would you really not swap out a lot of the things? Let me know. If you have any topics you'd like to be discussing for the conversations, let me know in the comments down below as well. I'm going to go. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lots of situations, and I'll see you another day.